Hello everyone, in the last episode we have set our World of Warcraft for an optimal background recording. So now it's time to move on to our character recording. In this episode of WoW Machinima tutorial series, we will go through WoW Model Viewer and all you need to know about it. So first of all, we just need to go to wowmodelviewer.net and it'll take you right into this website. Also, thanks for Black Summoner for such a lovely website. It's part of the WoW Model Viewer team. And here you can also see that we have a Discord channel, so if you guys want to hang out with other aspiring Machinimators or ask questions about WoW Model Viewer, you can just go ahead and join. But yes, I'll be going for several of these frequently asked questions in this video as well. And it's kind of frustrating to be asked an already answered question, so keep that in mind. Now, moving on, you can just download the newest version, which is currently at the time when I make this video is RC3, or you can go here and click download and it'll take you to another page where you can download the other versions of WoW Model Viewer, and each version only works for a certain version of WoW. Like you can see over here, 0.8 is for Warlords of Draenor expansion. Also, keep in mind, if in case there's an update for WoW, really beg you to back up your current version of WoW before updating it. Because if not, you'll need to wait for another release of WoW Model Viewer to make a Machinima again, and it's clearly not a good experience, the waiting. A lot of my friends over the League of Machinima are stressed out due to this. Now, keep on going, you can download a specific version, and I'm currently still using RC2 here instead of RC3. I have a backup of patch 8.1 because RC3 is a little bit of buggy from what I heard, but the overall features is the same. Like there's not a lot of different from each version. It's just like fixing errors or new file list, something like that. So let's just say I download an RC3. Like I'll keep going through the installation. Okay, so the download is complete, and yeah, sometimes the Windows blocks this, but just run. It's not a dangerous software, no need to worry. And for installation is, I usually don't read that. You can place it wherever you want. Like I usually put on tools, WoW Model Viewer, and WoW Model Viewer. Yes, A for version 9 RC3. Yeah, but you can keep it like anywhere you want, doesn't really matter. Install for a second. That's complete. It should pop up in your desktop, like right here. Just allow it. Now that we have our WoW Model Viewer set up, first of the few things we want to do is to manage the options. So, oh yes, like we should load the World of Warcraft here. Now you just go to your Warcraft folder, like I put mine here, go to data, and it usually takes a while for them to load. Okay, so now it's done. We just go to options, settings, go to display, and change this to, or is it? Yeah, I think it's this one. Color 32, 16, 8, 16, double buffer, hardware mode. Like this is the best graphics settings you can get in WoW Model Viewer. It doesn't make much of a difference, but it's the best settings available. And yep, apply the settings. And yes, it requires restarting, but we can just do that later because I want to show you something else. Now, since we're going to record whatever inside, we want to make this, they call this canvas. We want to make the canvas as big as possible. And you can see your current size of the canvas, like around here. And you can actually set the canvas size around here. But first of all, if you want to make your canvas big, you need to undock this. So yeah, you can just undock this by dragging. You can dock this by like until you see this light part. It's just docking, something like that. Just don't dock this inside, so you can have a big screen. You can see the canvas size just increase. Now, yeah, if you're asking like why the canvas needs to be big, because if it's small and you put it on a 1080p composition, it will look really bad. It's blurry, jagged, something like this. So we've make it like big. We open up space, but even if I like maximize it, it doesn't really put to the full potential. Like I'm currently using 2048 times 1152 for my resolution, but it's nowhere near it. And even if I set the canvas size, let's just say something like this, it doesn't change. Now, you might also remember when I boot up my WoW Model Viewer, the loading screen, like the one with the Anduin and Jen, or perhaps you got Sylvanas and Sarfang, like it's kind of random which one you got. It kind of crops the desktop, but let me just show you again. If I boot it up, like you can see this one is tearing the screen. Okay, now, so what is wrong with it? Like what's causing it? Yeah, to fix it, it's actually pretty simple. Let me just close this. Just go to your settings, and then display, and change it to 100%. Maybe ignore the word recommended. Like I don't recommend it. Always use 100, like no matter what. And so if I put it up again, it's correct. And yes, you can see that's Sylvanas. And if I put this big, you can see like it shows up like it won't be your exact resolution screen because there's this bar in the top, bar in the bottom, and then there's your taskbar. Like, well, the point is just get as big as you can. So, well, that's about it. So, as I said, I'll be using RC2 instead, but it will still look the same, trust me. So, where did I put my RC2? Okay, it's missing. Hold on a second. Oh, your RC2. Alright, here we go. Yes, sounds loaded. Okay, so it's downloading. First of all, we'll get into character creation. Just open a character and you can see all the playable characters here, and also some unplayable character like I believe I have a Frykle here, Volpera, and stuff like that. Character refers more to those models that can use stuffs, that can use armors, can use shoulders. It's not really like playable or not. Now I'll And you also might not find mech or orc because it's inside the orc model. So yeah, just for example, let's just use like human male. You can see like usually it's just 3 files. There's a for the work and transformation right here. You can just ignore it. It'll be like this human male HD, and one with HDR. We can ignore the HDR. Human male refers to the classic model, so you don't need a classic client to have a classic model. You can have it inside here. Also, wait, let me close my Chrome for a while. Makes everything lighter. And for HD, it refers to the WoW model, the new one. And SDR, again, we ignore that. Now for character, you can see this character editor tab here. You can choose what you wear by clicking this, change the appearance, whatever. Yeah, let's skip it that way. Now you can choose it, click shoulder shoulder here and wait for it to load. And yep, there it is. It's just like random shoulder. You can see it always something like that. And you can also like, okay, I don't want plate shoulders to show up. Just untick this. It'll reload. It'll remove any plate shoulders from here. Or if you just want like, okay, I want only letter, just double click the letter and it'll untick everything else. So yeah, something like that. And you can also put the guild tabard. Say guild tabard here, and you can change the appearance right here. It's kind of the same with creating guild tabard in your guild master. Now, in case like you're lazy or something, like you don't want to equip every single thing one by one, you can go to character here and load item set. So keep in mind that item sets refers to those item sets that have set bonuses. So yeah, for example, let me just use like Radiant Lightbringer here. Radiant Lightbringer armor. You can see it doesn't include the boots. It doesn't include the boots because the boots is not included in the item set. So yeah, despite its matching looks. Now, other than item sets, you're supposed to be able to see like the start outfit here. It will load your starting items like a warrior starting item, a warlock starting item, something like that, but it's currently empty. I don't know why. Other than this, you can also actually go to effects and apply enchants to your right hand or left hand, but it's also missing for one reason or another. And speaking about ancient weapons, a lot of people kept asking about artifact appearance. And just say I'll equip an artifact. Takes a while. There you go. Let's just say a Springer. So when you click it, it just appears with its original skin, and change it. Just simply click this button right here. You can see it as a drop down menu of several numbers. Now, I don't remember what it is, but this is how you change the appearance. You can also do the same for your Radiant Lightbringer. You can see over here. Now for items that doesn't have any style like this, like just use a random boots just for an example. Let's just use this. Like you can see, like this is unclickable and it remains gray. Now some people miss this, but this is a very important thing. Take a good look at the toes. You can see over here, like look at that ugly thing. And this is clearly wrong and stupid. And then chest, I don't know if you can actually see it with the big shoulder pads, but you can see over here it's a bit lumpy and it's intended for bare chest and it really doesn't work well with armor because it doesn't really make sense. Like how can the plate be lumpy and bumpy, something like that. And also maybe sometimes when you load night elf, the ears doesn't come out. To fix that kind of things, you go to view and model control here, and let's say we want to fix the toes, go to feet, disable this and turn this on. You can see it's now boots. Now usually like ignore stuffs above, like this is the range is too far. It's usually related to your armor set. Like you can see this is supposed to be on the boots of the Radiant Lightbringer, stuff like that. So if you're seeing like, oh, one part is not showing, like usually it happens for the culture and armor, like the code not showing or something. You can just look around here and click few things. Also 22 refers to the chest. I don't know why it's 22. And if you can say like ears, you can just do stuff like this, something like that. And keep in mind that if you change like one of the equipments, or you change the model, for example, let me just change the hair, it'll reload, like it'll return to the wrong model. Now all you need to do is redo it. Now don't be confused with this one's still green and this one's not green. Like just do it, like don't care about it. Yeah, you can call this an error or something. Now you can also go, like for example, in case you don't see it, just make this larger. There's a drop down menu and you can see like the shoulder, helm, or sword, something like that. You can actually like mess with the model. Or sometimes just use shoulder here. And as you can see, sometimes the texture becomes messed up. Just need to go to animation over here and fix this up. Like I don't know which one it's supposed to be. I think it's this one. And you can set alpha. You want it to be transparent. It's possible. Or you want to make it scale. Which weird. Why doesn't it work? Let me try with the left instead. Right are a little buggy. As you can see, like there are two right shoulders. So I don't know why. It's been like that for a few versions. You can scale it down. No, you can't. I don't know why. That's weird. Yeah, but the point is usually you can scale it down. Like, let me try with the weapon. Something's wrong. Usually like you can scale it down and the weapon will go smaller, so you can get like tiny ass bringer or something. It's kind of possible. Now, because we're still in this, I want to address something important, which is particles and volumetric slide. By what I mean by volumetric slide is this kind of glowy thing right here, and these particles. Like, it looks good. It might look good here, but it will mess with your compositing process. First of all, like, they don't really work well with green screens, especially their transparency will be broken. And the next problem is that when you try to connect animations, it will create a very obvious cut, like especially for the particles. Like the state of the particles from one animation to another will look really different, and you don't want that. To deactivate it, like, let's just go with the volumetrics first. I'll go to the shoulder here. Yeah. So just go like main here and do it like you do the feed and stuff. Like, I don't know which one. Just try every single one of them. So it's range. Let's try the right. I don't know why, but it's a bit buggy today. Like the last time I used WoW Model Viewer, it worked pretty fine. You can see, like, you can disable it like that. And for particles, just untick this, and there's no longer any particles here. But of course, like, it kinda how do you say it, troublesome to uncheck every particle every time. You can also go to your options here, settings, and uncheck show particle. But the problem is the particle does not disappear, but instead it will pause like this. And to make it disappear, you need to re-equip the armor or the weapon, whichever you're using. So, like, for example, I'm using the 10 of Ashbringer, right? So I need to reload Ashbringer. Well, take a while to load. Ashbringer. Okay, so doing it right away won't do it, but you need to change like one and then return it. And okay, the particle is now gone. Like, you need to do that to remove the particles. So if you want to uncheck this show particle, I recommend you to do it before anything else. And for the next part, yeah, let's just say you're satisfied with this character, which obviously you're not. You can just go to character here, save character, and let's just say I put it on desktop here, and I'll just give it a random name, and you can load the character again. Let me change the character first, and load character. Char. Already reload your character back to its state. And the next things is you can also save the equipment only, so not the character but only the equipment. So in case you want to change the gender, or you want to use other model but you want to use the same armor and you don't want to equip each and every one every time, and it's just the same with save character, but this time you save equipment and then load equipment. You can also clear equipment to remove everything from here, but yeah, let's just not do it. Now the next thing will be importing an armory character here. Like I already have an Nixium's link here. Just click OK and wait for a bit second. It takes quite a while. And yeah, just click OK. It simply tells you like your char is transmogrified. And yep, you have Nixium. You can use like import armory character to anything, but some people say that it doesn't work. It's mostly due to the link. If you ask me, like, don't let there's be like /simple or other suffixes. Just keep it as simple as possible. Like mine's just like Nixium and it ends. Usually like the region, character, origin down, the server name, so on and so forth. And sometimes it doesn't really work well with symbols, Russian characters, Chinese characters, so on and so forth. So the point is, if you want to load an armory character, make sure your link is as simple as possible. So now we'll move on to mounts. You can either click this mount or this mount, or go to character. There's also mount and this mount around here. And it again takes a while to read everything. Okay, now it's done. You can, yeah, there's pretty much almost all mounts is available here. Do everything we want. Now there's a funny little trick here. Like this one is player mounts. If you go to the all creature and let's say Lich King, where is it? There you go, Office Lich King. You got yourself riding a Frostmourne. I don't know why it's that comfortable, but you have it. Now keep in mind that not all creatures can be used like this, like for example Illidan. It doesn't do anything, like your character's just sitting underneath him. You just keep that in mind. Now for animation, like we're going to start using this animation thing. And let's just return to a normal mount. Now if you see, if I want to animate it, the one that will be animated is the mount instead of the character. To animate the character, you just need to go to model, hit the drop down menu here and choose your character first. Then reset your character into standing animation. If you want mount, just go to mount. Let's return to mount here. There's also like several other mounts. Mount chopper. There's also mount self, I guess, for humans and wolverines. And yeah, by doing this, like you can have your character like, oh, I want to him riding while also attacking, for example. Something like this is also possible. Well, let's just continue, and for the sake of simplicity, I'm just going to dismount first. Now, there's one trick that almost everyone misses, is that when you use like walk or run or anything that involves movement in game, actually only some, like roll doesn't work for roll. Just use walk this time. And if I press either the up or down button, let's say I press up button. Yes, you need to click this first. Use the up button. He walks. He actually walks, and the down button will be walking backwards. And you can't do it in stand, like Stand like no matter what you press, you can't do anything. So you can often go make him do a circle movement. Yeah, something like that. Now, what's amazing is that, let's say I put this speed to the lowest possible, and I press my up button. His walking speed, his movement speed adjusts to your animation speed, and it's really something awesome if you ask me. Could be used for tricks or something that came in mind. Now, why is this kind of thing important? Like, let me just reset this to 1. Like, for example, I want to make him walk from left to right or right to left. Let's use right to left. And I'm going to close all of this so you can see. I'll make it walk. Like, you can see how the camera perspective works. Like, in this part you only see the back, while when he's still on the right, you see his front. Like, this little camera perspective here really adds something to your machinima later. And if you're just like putting him on the middle here, recording it and put it on your compositing software and make him translates by adjusting his position, or if you want to make him come closer, you adjust the scale. Like, it doesn't really make sense in the camera perspective, like how they look. Like, look at this. It's really good coming in perspective. So this little detail is quite important. And also, you can combine your animations. Let me make this a bit larger. You can uncheck lock animation here and do I don't know, just anything. Like, yeah, you can do this. This one's for the upper body, lower body, and this is for the head. Although I don't really recommend using the head because it usually breaks the animation. Like, let's see, I want to use this. Like, you can see, like, the head is a bit of unclear. Like, in a tech book, he doesn't even move his head, at least not much. And if I were to lock the animation, you can see the head is still bugged out, which really is bad. And even if I were to return this to like walk, like matching to this lower body animation, yeah, for some reason this one worked. For some reason this one doesn't really broken, but for sometimes it doesn't really return to where it belongs. Like, I would still be looking over here or something. I don't really recommend it, but what to do with, just it's up to you. And for those of you like was wondering how Nixium do like crazy moving animations, you just be creative and select anything that will look good, like does a lot of movements. First time is triangulate and swim over here. And I don't know, let's just use something from the head. Like this one I think is good at tactile. And then crank the speed to maximum. You can see like shaking like a crazy person. Yeah, that's basically what Nixium usually does. So yeah. Also keep in mind you can also pause this and clear animation. I don't know why it doesn't work. Stop will return you to the first frame. Like you can also animate frame by frame like this, but it doesn't really use, like, I don't think it's used much. So that ends all the animation and character. Now let's open again our file list. We're going to head over to NPCs or creatures. You can see there's a lot of NPCs that you can use, but keep in mind that some NPC have different file name than their in-game name. Like for example, Mifrax, the Unreffer, or whatever it is. Like you won't find Mifrax around this part. There's no such thing as Mifrax around here. You can see like it's only Mystic Mana Kitty. I don't know what that is. Instead, its name here is Kivix. You can see. There you go. There's Mifrax, and you can change this type here. I don't know which one is Mifrax. I don't play Sandalar. I don't play WoW. And also, other than this, we know that some NPCs use a character model to find them. Like you won't find them here; they don't exist here. This is for the NPCs that doesn't use a character model. You need to go to View NPC here, and wait a second. Takes a while, as always. Yeah, usually they're on humanoid or sometimes undead, like I don't know. And again, keep in mind that this is not a complete. This like the list is not complete. Like there are some that you can't find. Let's just say Fortring. Like there's no Fortring here. Like there's no Fordragon, Wormbrain, from Halford. But Tyrion is an important character. Like why isn't it here? But don't worry, just import from URL, and you can put a wowhead link. Yeah, close Chrome. Wait a second. And here we have a link for Tyrion already. And then import, and once it's changed right here, you can click display. Takes a while. And there you go, Tyrion, but it's clearly imperfect. Like it's not a perfect Tyrion. This model customization is clearly wrong. It's not a perfect tool, but usually the face and the skin is already right. What you need to do is just mess with the hair and hair color, and sometimes facial hair. I don't think so. I think facial hair is quite correct, but again, I don't know. Just yeah, do what you think you should do to fix it. Oh, but keep in mind that you cannot load them in the classic version. So you can. So even if you import a classic character, it will still look in the WoW model. Now moving on to other stuffs and some facts. To change the background, like you can see, this background is already green for the green screen, while the first time you install it's some kind of blue shade, I think. Let's go to View background color here and select any color you want. Click OK. Now I usually use 128 green rather than 255 green, because for me it's a better green screen compared to this one. And you also need a blue screen sometimes. Yeah, you also use the 128. And you can also load an image by the background here. So it's not really useful. Like it can't be used for anything actually. And for those of you that kept asking, the answer is no. You cannot load multiple models at once. Like when you see IKEdit do it, like it's an edited footage. You can't do something like that. And for those of you who lost the working hair texture, like let me show you an example. Oops, not creature characters. Worgen male. Like you can see the hair texture is missing. If this problem occurs, all you need to do is close your WoW model viewer and then open it again, and make sure the first model that you open is a Worgen. So don't open anything else before a Worgen. Like that should fix it for at least one run of the WoW model viewer. If it doesn't work, then I don't know again. I mean, that always works for me. I guess that's the WMV, the WoW model viewer's fault, and needs to be updated, fixed, something like that. And last thing, if you can't load the WoW data, like there's an error or something, try closing your WoW model viewer, open your Battle.net, and then click the scan and repair for the World of Warcraft. And yeah, wait for it to complete and you can use your WoW model viewer again. Also make sure that neither Battle.net nor World of Warcraft is running when you're using a WoW model viewer. This will break the game's file and you have to scan and repair again for unnecessary things. Okay, so that's it everyone. Hope you enjoyed it. Thank you for those who've watched till the end. In the next episode, we'll start putting our characters inside After Effects and using the green screen. And that's it. Don't forget to subscribe and leave a like. And see you on the next episode. Goodbye.